Arctic Leopard, please don't watch this video because you're probably gonna hate us for this. All right, got it, let's go.
Yep.
All right, ready?
Yep.
Bolo GritShift, and this is the XE Pro R. This is not a review video. We're gonna be going over all of the issues that we found with this bike out of the box. Arctic Leopard seriously dropped the ball on this bike and nobody's talking about it besides you consumers that have experienced this problem. Out of the box, Arctic Leopard sent these bikes with bad BMS settings. Bikes work, they run, they drive, everything like that. We first discovered this after a few sales that we had, customers saying, hey, bike's not charging to 100%. We looked into it, then we saw the trend and stuff like that, dug into it a bit deeper, and also due to the help of other consumers in like Facebook groups and stuff like that that publicize this issue, BMS settings were completely wrong on this battery. Yes, they work, the bikes run, operate, charge, everything like that, but they weren't configured correctly. We had like weird one-off cases where certain setting parameters were set to like a 24S battery. This is not a 24S battery. And then other parameters that were just non-existent. So we fought with Arctic Leopard more than I'd like to admit. Literally till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning some nights, dealing with their Chinese division. And we finally got all that sorted. Thanks to the help of Pinned Electric, Braxton over there. He's been a very big supporter of us and us kind of laying the hammer down to Arctic. I'm sure he has done that too. I've seen a number of people review this bike, other influencers, other companies and stuff like that, and nobody's talking about this battery problem or the controller issue that we'll get into next. So before we do any official review video on this bike, we want to just kind of outline, like, we hear you. All the customers that have purchased this bike from us, I'm confident that they're comfortable and confident in their purchase with us because we've sent them literally daily updates on the situation, what we're doing to resolve it, etc., etc. So battery issue has been resolved after having to have Arctic Leopard basically revise the battery settings 2 or 3 times. Rusty assisted with that. So I don't know exactly how many times, but we can say that the battery settings are now finally correct. The other thing is, there was a lot of, I guess, controversy on if this is actually a 74 volt battery and if it was actually 60 amp hours. So the cells that are used on these, I believe they are P58 ferrous cells, whereas the Pro S has the P53. Don't quote me on that. We'll fact check that and put it in the description, just going off the top of my head here. So this is in fact a 60 amp hour battery, 74 volt. So it is what it says or was claimed to be originally. Aside from all that, BMS settings, all good, no issues anymore. All of our bikes that we have in our stock right now that we're not releasing yet until tune software is done are all updated, no issues there. So the other thing is the chargers. Arctic did commit to us that they will be replacing chargers. And I think display screens, the firmware or something like that was off. So display screens, chargers, all that stuff's gonna be taken care of. The last piece to this puzzle before we could start actually selling our stock again, these bikes are available on GritShift.com. They're just set for pre-order. We do have them here. We're just not sending them out to anyone yet. Last piece of the puzzle is the tune. Looking into the tune parameters, I'm not sure who tuned this controller. There's a lot of room to make this bike a lot better. Literally, like the ratios and speed, which is like current coefficients, it's the phase power delivered per RPM base. Like literally just refining that on its own could make this bike more efficient for range, make it way more powerful, make it way more controllable. You could check out our Arctic Leopard XF video. We kind of briefly cover that. That's gonna be a whole video on its own that we're gonna do just for tuning this bike to show you kind of what we did. And then we're gonna have a download link so then you could just upload the tune directly to your bike if you didn't buy from us and you don't have a revised tune bike. Noted thing on that is if you do use our tune, you're probably gonna have voided warranty. If you buy the bike from us and it has our tune, we will cover your warranty if Arctic Leopard denies it because of the tune that we put in it. We don't believe that Arctic Leopard's tune should be a production grade tune. Frickin' airplanes. Brakes on and he's just flooring it.
Testing his motor before he goes in the sky.
He should test it over there. We moved to the wrong side of the airport. So to conclude this, before we do any review video, we're gonna solve these problems, get these bikes actually sellable because we have a ton of inventory that's literally just dead weight right now. And as a small... So before we make a review video, we're gonna solve all these problems so we can make these bikes sellable again. We have a crap ton of stock in our warehouse right now. It's basically just dead weight, and that honestly hurts us a lot, but we don't wanna put ourselves in a position where we have customers that are pissed off at us and, you know, just causing issues internally here. So solving all these problems first, get the bike sellable, then we're gonna do a review video. And then after that review video, that's gonna be very basic because we do only basic, simple videos. We're gonna do a trail day, probably an FTR race on the Pro R, kind of like what we did with the Teleria Komodo. Check that video if you haven't yet. And then we're gonna do a moto day on the Pro R. So we have about a year's experience of beating the literal crap out of the Pro S, which is like its little brother. And it's held up amazingly well, aside from forks bending and rear shock braking and triangles braking and a few other things. But aside from that, it's been really, really solid. So I kind of expect the same from this. And from a stock bike, riding the way that we ride, we're not professionals, we just do a lot of dumb stuff on our bikes. That's pretty good. So, I'm lost now. Oh, I remember. So, Arctic Leopard, if you watch this video, super sorry. Don't hate us, but we try to give you the opportunity to do the right thing and do a public statement, which you kind of did. But it wasn't really up to our standards. We still see a lot of people questioning this in the industry, so we're making this video to try to bring clarity and give consumers confidence that purchase and deal with us. Also, thank you, Braxton at Pinned Electric. You have been, you know, fully supportive of getting this all rectified. So really appreciate that from a distributor. Usually people just disappear. And all of the influencers and other companies that are reviewing this bike particularly, like, why aren't you guys talking about this stuff? Like, either you don't know or shame on you, you do know, and I don't want to say anything bad, but anyways, bike's gonna be dialed in soon. There's a lot of room to grow with this controller based off the settings that we see in it. So yeah, this is our R&D bike, so we're gonna thrash on it, and we're gonna switch Rocket over from his Pro S to the Pro R for this race season that's starting up. There's a freaking ant on my leg. Maybe Yoda too, because I don't know. I don't know what bike to put Yoda on because he's a monster. He's more than any of our bikes could handle.